So it gives me great pleasure to introduce today's John Lattimer lecturer. Dr. Vip Patel completed his medical education at Baylor College in Houston. He then completed his residency and fellowship training at the University of Miami in Florida. Subsequently, Dr. Patel has served as the director of the robotic surgery program at the Ohio State University in Columbus, Ohio, prior to joining Advent Health Corporation. Dr. Patel is board certified by the AUA and is the medical director of the Global Robotics Institute at Advent Health Celebration and medical director of the Advent Health Center Institute Urologic Oncology Program. He is a professor of urology at the University of Central Florida College of Medicine in Orlando. He is the founder of the International Prostate Cancer Foundation and a founding member of the Society of Robotic Surgery. He is the editor emeritus of the Journal of Robotic Surgery and editor of the first ever robotic urology textbook. He leads one of the world's most experienced robotic surgery teams and travels around the world to educate physicians and care for patients. Dr. Patel is world-renowned for his contribution to the field of robotic surgery and prostate cancer. He is the most experienced robotic surgery in the world and has personally performed over 19,000 robotic prostatectomies for the treatment of prostate cancer. Dr. Patel has developed techniques in robotic surgery that have translated to improve patient care and outcomes. His innovations have helped to improve cancer treatment and return of early urinary continence and sexual function. His contributions have been recognized worldwide through publications, professorships, and training courses. Please let's welcome Dr. Patel.
Good afternoon and welcome. Thank you to the AUA for allowing me the distinct privilege of delivering the Lattimer Lecture in honor of John Kingsley Lattimer, former chairman at Columbia University. This lecture series has been delivered at the AUA since 1986, focusing on new innovations, practices that have the potential to revolutionize the specialty of urology and the field of surgery as a whole. Today, my topic will be focused on the humanitarian concept of telesurgery as a new surgical frontier in education and patient care. It's not advancing. I'll put it here. The area of COVID presented many challenges to healthcare systems, and in some areas led to a complete shutdown in medical care. One of the innovations that helped medical professionals navigate these problems was the rapid advancement, development, and adoption of telemedicine, with virtual remote medicine temporarily replacing direct patient care. This allowed many areas of medicine to continue to function, providing critical health care for the needy. In the field of surgery, however, this was not possible as there was no remote option and direct patient contact was still necessary. Today's lecture is a glimpse into the future of the potential. The World Health Organization recently released data on global healthcare needs and disparities. As you can see, even without the pandemic, there are significant healthcare issues, inequalities in various regions of the world. Some of the disparities are economic, based on capabilities and priorities of the nation, whereas others are related to lack of surgical education, training, and available human resources with medical expertise. I think telesurgery has the potential to help overcome some of these global imbalances and hasten the improvement of medical care. Recent innovations have put telesurgery in the limelight, the new frontier in medicine, a potential way to navigate around some of these enormous global healthcare challenges. Imagine if one day we'll be able to remove some of these geographic, economic, and educational barriers and provide a safer healthcare that is more accessible with reduced cost. I think the societal implications and benefits would be tremendous. We all recall Jack Marisco's landmark Lindbergh operation. demonstrating for the first time the potential of remote surgical care. With a surgical latency of 150 milliseconds over a distance of 6,200 kilometers, they were able to accomplish a cholecystectomy from the USA to France. However, the technical and economic challenges they encountered along the way made telesurgery impractical at the time. These challenges have been difficult to navigate, and almost a quarter century later, little progress has been made in the field of telesurgery until quite recently, as technology really was not advanced enough to facilitate adoption. Many of the problems were around lack of telesurgical capability of robots and the challenges with prolonged transmission speeds along long distances known as surgical latency. The concept of surgical latency is basically a measure of the delay in transmission of signal from point A to point B and back. This type of connectivity used is dependent upon compression speeds, the distance, the number of connections along the path, and this all contributes to delay of the signal coming back to the surgeon. A latency of less than 150 milliseconds is considered optimal and not perceptible to the human brain, whereas between 150 and 300 milliseconds, you start to have significant degradation where surgeons have to accommodate, leading to increased stress, fatigue, and even surgeon error. So why now? So what's changed 24 years later? I think the key to telesurgery is low latency connectivity, but recent advancements in telecom and innovation of high-speed networks brings it faster speeds and less latency. Fiber optic connectivity is even more reliable and faster than wireless, and it's available in many areas of the world. So I think the key to telesurgery is going to be a combination of the two, wireless and fiber optic networks working together and backing each other up. In parallel, there's also been the introduction of a diverse array of robotic systems. Traditionally, robotic surgery has probably been one of the least equitable parts of surgery due to the high cost and the advanced training that's necessary. However, we anticipate this is changing with the arrival of an increased number of lower-cost robotic systems. All of these robotic platforms have received clinical approval and usage in some part of the world. The ones in green are telesurgically capable, some more than others. Other robotic systems are on the way in the process of approval, and yet even more are under planning and development. So as you can see, many robotic systems coming through. So the technology is advancing and the capability is there. But is it really viable yet? Are we culturally and ethically ready to perform post-surgery with surgeons we've never met, or to operate on patients we've never examined? Well, maybe. And it would definitely be interesting and it would change things. The origins of modern-day telesurgery are in Asia. Over the last couple of years, our team has traveled the globe and spent a significant amount of time and resources evaluating the concept of telesurgery and remote connectivity. Our team of surgeons and engineers has focused on the humanitarian applications for surgical education in underserved and remote areas of the world. We were initially introduced to the concept of telesurgery in Japan. When we went to evaluate the Hinatori surgical system, we found the system to be very capable and useful, with the added benefit of telesurgical capability. We talked with the Japanese surgical societies who are planning the implementation and doing the trials, and they've connected in inanimate models to over 5,000 kilometers away now. Next, we went to India, and we were once again surprised to see very capable robotic system, also with telesurgical capability. We found that the SSI mantra was economically practical in a growing Indian robotic surgery market, and the mantra has now performed urologic, gynecologic, and even cardiac remote cases, but using wireless 5G. In India, the wireless 5G is probably more prevalent than actual fiber. But currently, really, the epicenter of telesurgery is in China. and it's now being evaluated as a humanitarian necessity due to the lack of highly trained surgeons in many remote areas of the world. From patients, many of these patients have to travel large distances to the big cities and wait for months to get surgical care due to the concentration of advanced surgical resources. Our team was invited to teach robotic surgery to surgeons in China and given privileges and licensure to evaluate firsthand the use of 5 different technologically robotically capable surgery systems. Our first encounter was, we were quite naive, to be honest, about the concept of telesurgery, and we were concerned about a novice robotic platform and the stability of the telecom network. I was placed in Beijing. However, in order to ensure patient safety, a second part of our team was mobilized and dispatched to the patient bedside in northern China. We used the Edge robotic system with the robotic console in Beijing and the robot with the patient 1,500 kilometers away. Throughout my surgery, we had direct fiber connectivity and telepresence, so I was able to see the OR and communicate just as I would in my home OR. Due to the fiber optic direct connectivity, we were able to have minimal surgical latency. Even 1,500 kilometers away, the latency was a mere 51 milliseconds, obviously imperceptible to the human brain. The interaction with the remote team is also very, very important, and it was flawless. The importance was that the latency was not perceptible by my co-surgeon 1,500 kilometers away. He mentioned it was the same as if we were in our normal OR operating in our normal day. What we did learn to appreciate was the complexity of the telecom network that needs to be in place, deployed, and maintained throughout every single robotic surgery. This is one of our key challenges. Without technical issues, we were able to complete our first teaching case of robotic radical prostatectomy, and we even had a chance to do a celebratory virtual handshake. No latency either. Next, we moved to a different robotic system with a different telecom platform, a different challenge. This time we were with the SageBot, with dedicated 5G networks. Once again, I stayed in Beijing. My team traveled from way up north, flew down to the very southern part of China, 2,700 kilometers away from me, and once again, they were at the patient bedside. What was unique about this teaching experience is that the surgeon being mentored was at a third distant location on a third console. So using 5G, dedicated network, we were able to mentor a remote surgeon, exchanging controls with the flip of a switch. As you can see, this is a different open console, modular robotic system. Once again, no significant learning curve, but what was interesting is the triple console connectivity allowed a very unique educational mentoring opportunity. Returning home, we've been fortunate to have some of these robotic surgery systems in our lab in Orlando. With this revolutionary technology, we've been assessing the boundaries of the utility of these devices, asking questions such as how far is too far, how much latency is actually tolerable for the surgeon. So this time we used the 2My MedBot, and we've connected in non-clinical applications to as far away as the Middle East and the UAE. We have also done animal trials. We have an IRB protocol between Orlando and Shanghai. As you can see, the linear round-trip distance is about 26,000 kilometers, and this is another type of immersive console which we actually have currently in our lab. I think what's important to understand is how this really works. The telecom connectivity is not a homogeneous network. It's also nonlinear, connecting via various diverse robotic pathways. First, we use local 5G, the transcontinental fiber, trans-Pacific fiber, and then 5G again on the other side. So very challenging. So the audio, video, and the energy all have to be in unison and in perfect alignment. It can be quite a challenge. As you can see, the nonlinear distance increases the latency, We started at about 280 milliseconds latency in our initial trials, but with experience and our engineering team, we were able to bring it down to about 200 milliseconds. Here's a video, and it's very important to look at both screens here. You can see in this animal trial, the surgeon is in Orlando doing a partial nephrectomy on an animal 13,000 kilometers away. If you watch both screens, you can see there's actually a perceptible visual latency delay between the two monitors. The latency is between 200 and 220 milliseconds, but in order to accommodate, the surgeon has to slow their motions and change their actions, but it was definitely acceptable and we could do the surgery. We've also now connected to other places outside of China. This one was to Sao Paulo, Brazil, inanimate, combination of direct fiber down to Miami, and then some wireless 5G as well. Connectivity speed was low because the distance was smaller. As you can see from this table, as we've evolved and modified the connectivity, we've been able to drop the latency to more acceptable levels. So part of this is team training and learning from your experience. So overall, as the humanitarian potential, I think, of telesurgery for education and patient care is enormous. Expanding the transfer of knowledge and surgical technique while providing additional access and safety for surgeon training and patients to receive care. In remote and underserved areas of the world that lack access to basic surgical care, remote surgical education may well be a necessity. These countries often have the capability of purchasing technology, but lack the resources and skills to train the surgeons effectively. We have recently been asked to be part of a humanitarian project of the government of Angola to assist in training and education of their surgeons across different specialties, and we've traveled there in person to teach. But the capability of remote surgical education is obviously quite compelling. The first remote cases have been performed, and as you can see here, my surgical team is there in the OR, and this operation is going on, but there's no surgeon at the console in the OR. The surgeon is remote, and the first successful cases have been performed. Other colleagues have also started to do this. You can see our colleagues from Morocco. They've connected from Morocco to Shanghai, 30,000 kilometers. Significant latency, but still doable. Our colleagues in Kuwait have also started to do robotic surgery. Once again, as you can see, the telecom network, the way the signal goes, it doesn't always come back in the same path, and that all adds to significant latency. Recently, as of last week, you saw there was a focal HIFU case with Focal One from Abu Dhabi to Cleveland. I think this is probably one of the first cases of a focal ablation. And now you can also see that NASA is in the game as well. Extraterrestrial applications have been explored by NASA, but the larger distances and the high orbit satellite latency is still significant, and I think it's still suboptimal. It's nice to see there have been a lot of publications recently about telesurgery from our colleagues telling us about their challenges, and I think all of this is very helpful for us as we study the literature. So what does this all mean? Are our operating rooms going to be invaded by distant surgeons? Are our surgical cases going to be shipped off to a remote location? No. I think the permission for remote care still lies in the hands of the hospitals, the surgeon, and ultimately the patient. And I believe the key benefits of telesurgery will be in surgical education, allowing for faster adoption of new technologies and techniques, and delivering care to remote regions that are underserved for surgical care. While the optimism for telesurgery is tremendous, the challenges we have faced lead us to advocate extreme caution. There are still too many unanswered issues, and there's a lack of standardization and reliability. These are still really one-off cases, and the concepts are not currently scalable to modern-day practice. The framework to address these security, safety, licensing, legal, ethical issues are just not in place yet. So telesurgery is still a concept with a lot of work to do. As you can see, there are a lot of stakeholders in this circle of trust, and they all must be in alignment to make telesurgery a viable option. To address these challenges, we formed the Telesurgery Collaborative Community that meets frequently and discusses challenges and potential solutions. We've published many of these things, and I think what's very interesting is to see, the safety protocols that we've put in place. Our ambition obviously is to evaluate the technology and fulfill its humanitarian potential, but we anticipate the challenges and complexities that still need to be resolved. So, as our evaluation continues, we must accept and understand the challenges that lay ahead. There are many advantages to telesurgery, but just as many obstacles. The goal of our Telesurgery Collaborative Community is to improve access to surgical education and improve the quality of patient care globally, but to do it in a safe, ethical, lawful, and cost-effective manner. Thank you for the honor.